Hello, fiber fans, friends, and followers. My name is Beth, and I am here to talk to you about all of the yarny things that I've gotten into recently. Today, I will be talking about some finished objects. I've got, I think, 3 of them. So, one of which I'm wearing, so I'll be talking about that. I also have a couple of works in progress and some new to me things, and I will also be giving a prompt for the next Sandy bag that I will be raffling off to someone who answers whatever question I come up with during this episode. I also haven't picked out a Sandy bag yet, so they're over in the closet over there, so I will probably stop at some point and go grab a bag and come back and sit down and talk about the question. So, with that being said, let's jump right in. Today I am wearing my newly finished Traveler sweater by Andrea Mowry. I knit this with Shady Havens Fiber Designs Prime Alpaca, and it's said to be a sport weight. I think it knits up heavier than that. I had to go down several needle sizes to get even close to gauge, and you know how people say swatches lie? I'm 100% there, because every time I try to do math with what I'm getting on a swatch, it comes out nowhere near what my finished object actually comes out to, because this is supposed to be an oversized thing, and I intended to have this oversized, but because it's fully alpaca, I thought it was going to stretch quite a bit, and it didn't. So I don't know, maybe in the future as I wear it and wash it, it will be stretching out more. So I did do a twirl in it. I'll insert that here. But I do love the ties on it. It's funny, I wore this to work the other day after finishing it, and my coworker said, "Oh, did you knit the ties on your hood?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did. It was, a simple thing." And she's like, "Oh," because her mom is a knitter, and she's like, "Oh, my mom's never done that." So that is the only thing any of my coworkers said to me that day about this. So apparently it looks like it was store-bought, I guess, or something. I don't know. Nobody else asked me anything about it, if I knit it or anything. So should I take that as a compliment? I think so. I don't know. So as you can see, this is more fitted than what is in the picture that I put up in one of these spots. But I like the way it fits. I think it fits me nicely. It will go over things. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to wear this over like another bulky sweater or anything, but it will keep me warm. In fact, I'm pretty warm in it now. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it on for the whole episode because I am fairly warm in it. Oh, and I think that's all I had to say about that. I've talked about this project multiple times. The other thing, I have not blocked it since I added the cuffs and the hood. I don't think that's going to make that much difference. The cuffs do kind of look like they're pulled in when they're not on me. Like when I was knitting the hood at Knit Night a couple weeks ago, one of the other knitters there mentioned something about how they wanted their ribbing to pull in more, and they were comparing it to what I had, and I didn't think about it. I think it was Chris. So Chris, if you're watching, part of the reason that I think it looked like it was pulling in more is because I did block the whole sweater before I added the cuffs. So maybe that's what you were seeing and not realizing that it was because part of it was blocked and part of it was unblocked. Anyhow, we were talking about the difference between 2x2 ribbing and 1x1 ribbing, and is one stretchier than the other? I don't know. So the thing that distracted me that I was about to talk about is, you'll notice over here I no longer have the poinsettia. I overwatered it and it lost almost all of its leaves. In fact, it's over here. I'll go get it. Look how sad it is. So I went to this one little leaf. I went to move it before I started podcasting, and I had watered it this morning. And when I went to pick it up, it was full to the top of like this paper here with water. And I imagine I must have watered it too much the week before, because it didn't water that much today, I didn't think. So I'm thinking that's why it lost all its leaves. I know, like most plants, if the leaves start turning yellow, which this looks fairly yellow to me, that means you've overwatered it. And I don't think this has changed color all that much just this morning. So I think it can survive. I probably need to trim it back and let it start from less. Next finished object I have is, I finished my second Squiggle Wiggle sock. This is a pattern by Shannon Hobbs of Cozy Kitty Designs. Hi, Shannon. I finished the second one, so now I have a pair. Now I can wear them. I actually just finished the heel this morning, so they're off my needle, and I have needles free to work on my next pair of socks. I can't say enough about how much I love this design. I think it's so cute, and I expect them to wear very well. I've seen a few other people who have knit this, the test knitters of this, that I think a couple of them have done multiple pairs. So I think that's the best compliment you can get as a designer, that people want to knit your pattern more than once. These were done in Turtlepurl yarns. It is her Merino sock base in the colorway Cannonball, and look how nicely that complements my my sweater. Love it. I should wear those together someday. I think I'm gonna pause here and grab a sandy bag and take off this sweatshirt because I am really warm right now. So I'll be right back. Okay, I feel better. And at the moment, I didn't know how perfect that timing was, because when I opened the closet to grab a sandy bag, I found my other blanket square, which I had been looking for this morning, and it was in my closet. Who knew? So third finished object is my blanket square. Let me see, which way does this go? I think it goes this way. This is the Berroco Mystery Knit Along. I think it's called I've got it here. It is called Berroco Mystery Blanket Knit Along 2025. And it is knit from Berroco Vintage yarn. And this is a colorway oatmeal. Where did it go? Oats. Yes, Oats. So this is one of the neutrals that I picked for this knit along. And so I wanted to show my other January one, which I have shown in a previous episode, but I just thought it would be nice to show it again so you can see the two together and how they will complement each other. I don't know if they have an order that they want, that they're saying to put it together in. That I believe will come way later. So I am finished with January, and here it is May. So I gotta get cracking. February had 6 squares, so that's gonna be an undertaking. I don't know if I'll get all of them done this month. I see a very low flying plane. Have you guys noticed that planes have been flying lower recently? That's something that I maybe I'm crazy. Maybe they've always been flying this low and I just never noticed. But anyhow, one of my crazy conspiracy theories, I don't have a theory about why it's happening. I just think it is happening and it's weird and I want to know why. Anyone? Tinfoil hat with me? So that's it for the finished objects. Should I? Oh, this is perfect. Okay. The Sandy bag. Okay, here's the bag. Isn't it cute, the little sheep? In case you have not been around before, Sandy is a knitter and sewist who lives nearby, and she loves her podcasters, and we see her every year at the meetup, and she likes to make these tote bags for us to give away on our podcasts. She does not have a shop. She does not sell her bags. She gives them to podcasters to give away. So thank you, Sandy. I so appreciate you for this. And so here is the rest of the bag. It's got some of the same fabric on the inside. So it's on the pocket as well as the bottom. And then it's got this vinyl bottom. And it's got also this, here, I'll show you the other side because it's easier to see that. It's got a floral fabric inside, and then this pocket inside has the sheep again. So there's a pocket here, and then I don't know if you can see that there's a zipper right here. So there's it's like 2 pockets in one. So very well made, high quality. I carry mine everywhere I go because I just love it. It's big. I put my purse in it. I add a project bag and sometimes other things too. So the prompt for this: what is your biggest tinfoil hat theory? What do you think is happening? Just don't give me a list, please. Pick your favorite. I'm just curious to know what people out there are going about. And I want to know if other people are out there thinking there's some grand thing going on and the government is covering it up, or even just my parents are covering it up, whatever it might be. So I'm curious to know, anybody else out there as suspicious as I am of everyone and everything? All right, on to works in progress. So the one thing that is sort of ongoing, and I really have not made a whole lot of progress, but I'm sort of trying to do a couple rows a day on, I'm still working on the Flutter Buttshirt. So I still have just this big circle, but I'm doing a couple rows a day if I remember to do it. Sometimes I do not think about it because, you know, like I said, I've been finishing things. Oh, I forgot. There's another thing I finished. And I've got the show notes right in front of me. There's another thing I finished, and it's a dishcloth. That's why I forgot about it. It's so tiny. But I also have a work in progress that I've started from the same yarn. It's another dishcloth. So this is the basic dishcloth by Lily Sugar and Cream. It's just a garter stitch dishcloth, back and forth, knit, knit, knit. And really I looked for a free pattern. A coworker of mine had said that her grandmother used to knit dishcloths for her, and she asked me if I would do that for her. So she brought in the one that she had so that I could see what it is that she normally uses, and it was garter stitch. So I was like, okay, I can do that in my sleep. So I made one for her, and what happened is I saw that it said however many stitches it said, and I cast that on, and I did a couple rows, and I thought, you know, this seems really big to me, and I don't remember it being that big. So I went back to the starting row and pulled out a few stitches and continued and completed the dishcloth. Oh, I forgot I have another one. Anyhow, where is that? I'm gonna have to find that because I did make another one, and I want to talk about that one. So I guess I have 5 finished objects. Wow. I mean, dishcloths. Anyhow, so where was I at? Oh, so I finished this first one. I swear I remember her saying something to the effect of 6 by 6 inches, which for those of you who don't live in the US, it's about 15 centimeters square. So I thought it looked like a good size for like washing dishes and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is the size that I would want. And then when I brought it to her, she was very grateful. She did not say a thing about like how small it was for her at first. Because I said, there's plenty of yarn left over. If you want me to make another one, I will. And she said, yeah, could you just like make it just like maybe an inch bigger on each side? And I was like, I can do that. So her grandmother must have used this this pattern. I was going to say recipe. This pattern for the dishcloth because this had all that extra. Why is distance the only word I can think of? Extra space, extra yardage, extra. Hi. You know, I was feeling very sharp this morning, like feeling like my brain cells were firing really well. And then I had breakfast, and now I'm like, I'm slow again. Anyhow, so I did, she wanted the extra fabric on it. And so she said something about, yeah, I wiped down my counters with this. And I'm like, okay. So I'm in the middle of the second one for her. And, oh, it is in here. It is in here. So I made this one because it was green yarn. And I thought, oh, a leaf shape. That's cute. So when I was on my search for dishcloth patterns, this one came up, and I feel like the video does not do it justice. The pictures of it are cuter that I saw online. But also it looks smaller because there's nothing in the picture for like a size reference. So I really thought this was going to be like more like palm size, like that, like, you know, something you would just scrub your dishes with, like sponge size. So I would have liked to have had a smaller one, and maybe like if there's like a cotton yarn that's not as heavy as this is a worsted weight, so maybe a smaller gauge would make a smaller sponge like this, or I could even do less stitches. But I thought this was cute, so I made it, and I will look for that pattern name and put it up here and in my show notes, because I completely forgot about this when I was making show notes. So I will get that in there. So back to works in progress. The other thing that I am working on, it's coming off the needle. It's all in one bag here because on knit night this week, I just kind of had my bag that I was going through and doing multiple things. So I'm still on the cast on. So this doesn't really count. But I do have my swatch. And if I can get it disconnected from everything else, I will show it to you. It is another Andrea Mowry thing. It is the Moon Mint, which I had previously mentioned that when I went to the Knitty McPurly retreat, I bought the show colorways. It was Tidewater, which is a greenish color that does not look very green within this pattern because it is against this other color, but you can see how very mildly minty green that is. So this is Tidewater, and it is the Frankfurt fingering base. And when I went to cake up the yarn, I noticed that the yarns looked a little different texture-wise. And this is the other show colorway, Priscilla. And you can see, let me hold them side by side. You can see why I was a little hesitant when I noticed, oh, hey, these are a little different. This one is Dresden DK. Frankfurt fingering, Dresden DK. I'm supposed to have two different fingering weight yarns. So I decided to swatch and see if I can make it work. So Moon Mint by Andrea Mowry. My yarn is trying to fall off the table. This is my swatch. And I like the fabric of this. Tell me what you think, guys. Does that look like a good fabric? Is it too thick? I know that some designers and that people who are knowledgeable about yarny things and swatching and whatnot will say you should make a big swatch. That's not big enough. I'm sure that's not big enough. And I did the fake in the round thing where you kind of pull the yarn and try to have extra yarn as if you were pulling it around. And I think that is part of my problem, because if you look at it, this side is way bigger than this side. And so it's hard to tell where that is actually going to land. And even if I did like way bigger, I don't know that I would be seeing all that much difference. And I measured sort of toward the middle, and I'm getting one stitch per 4 inches. So that's a quarter of a stitch per inch. I'm getting 1 extra stitch, which means I'm knitting tighter than what the pattern says. So if I knit the size that I want, it's going to be smaller. So now the question is, do I do the size that I want, or do I go up a size? Because if my gauge is accurate, I am going to be knitting it smaller than what the pattern calls for. Every time, you guys. Every time. Gauge makes me crazy. And I was just looking this morning at this gauge swatch. Anybody remember this? This is the biggest gauge swatch I've ever knit, because I've been trying to decide what contrast color I want. This is different than this and this. And I also bought this as my next possibility. So that's why this never went anywhere. This was for the Polly cardigan by Amy Christophers. I don't know how to say it. I apologize, Amy. So I don't know what to do. I don't know, but I'm casting on. I started casting on at Knit Night, and I never did any more than that. I wanted to focus on finishing the socks. So that's what I've done since Knit Night this week. And yeah, I don't know where that'll go. But that, I believe, is all of my current works in progress. Just looking through my notes to see if I forgot anything, and I don't think I did. So, on to the new to me. Brenda and Heather Yarns had a sale. This beautiful thing, it was, I want to say it was like $20 for the skein. And even when you add the shipping, that's a better deal for self-striping yarn than you ordinarily would get. And, wait, where is it? Oh, there it is. It came with a little froggy. Oh, that's the back, isn't it? A little frog stitch marker. I think that's a stitch marker. Wait, let me look. Yes, it's a stitch marker. So, yeah, this is their, what they call the TargHeel base. It's 90% superwash Targhee wool and 10% nylon. And it is called, the colorway is called Noble Earth. I'm assuming that's from, I want to say I saw that it was from Hobbit. Is that the right? There's a different, Lord of the Rings, that's it. So I read it when I was in high school. You would think I would remember that stuff. I remember the runes. I remember seeing the runes on the book, and like I am one of those people who's into like solving things, like word stuff and letter stuff and everything like that. And I remember seeing the runes on the cover of the book and trying to figure out what they meant. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. The other new to me thing I got, look at how pretty that is. Oh my gosh, just seeing the center of that. Woo! Isn't that gorgeous? What a colorway. This is Lion Brand Mandala string. And the reason I got this is Lion Brand sent an email saying, hey, we're having a sale on kits. And so I decided to buy the kit for a sweater. It's like a summer, like lacy thing. It'll be up here somewhere. It is called Country Sunset Top by Life and Yarn. And I just thought it was so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, I need that. And Lion Brand yarn is so affordable. I mean, this is 100% acrylic. It's a fingering weight yarn. But look at those colors, you guys. How could I resist? How could I resist? So that hopefully will soon be on my hook. And one of the things that I want to do is get back into regular crocheting. I have I have 2 projects that I have not touched in a long time, both cardigan type things. And I have one that I just need to sew some things on and make some fringe. Yeah, so I want to get back to that because crochet goes so quickly. I'd like to finish those little things, and then I feel like if I tackle one a month of my crochet projects, I could easily finish them and then have time in the warm months to work on that top. So that's the current plan. We'll see how that pans out. But that's all I got to say about that. So I think I've gotten everything in. I appreciate every single one of you for every view I get, and I hope that you guys are enjoying all of your crafting. Whether or not you want to be entered into the drawing for the Sandy bag, please tell me your biggest tinfoil hat theory. I would love to hear it. And I think this is one that I'm definitely going to want to talk about on my next episode. So stay tuned for that. I think this is going to be an interesting one to read about because I think people have so many different thoughts. And maybe it's not even you. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe it's your cousin. Maybe it's your uncle. Maybe it's your sister. Maybe it's your daughter. Whoever. Your coworker, your neighbor. Okay. You guys know who people are, right? Anyhow, remember, friends, every like is a tinfoil hat coming off. And I will see you on the next episode. Remember to like, subscribe, survive, and thrive. Thanks for watching.